Hello everyone and welcome to another What Wednesday video. Today we're going to be making some Mother's Day cards, and I'm actually making 3 of them here. I pulled out my Lawn Fawn Flutterby stamp set and stamped these out with archival black ink. It's one of the better inks to watercolor with, and I'm just playing with my peerless watercolors here. This is actually the first time I've used them. I've had them for quite some time, but just never got around to doing anything with them, and I finally, over the course of the redoing of my room, organized them so that I had little swatches here, a little palette, so to speak, to play around with, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do so, and then I decided that these images would make really cute Mother's Day cards. So I figured 2 birds, 1 stone. Get a chance to play around with the watercolors and make some cards at the same time. So I have some butterflies and some roses or flowers stamped out here onto some watercolor paper. I am using Wisteria Violet, I believe is what it's called. I unfortunately am going off of what my screen says, for the purple part of the butterfly, and then the deep blue for part of the inside of the wings. And I will be changing the intensity of the color as it dried. I realized that it was much darker than I really wanted, but I'm also using very little water. So like I said, this is the first time I'm playing around with them. I'm not sure that these are going to be my cup of tea, but I think I just need more practice with them. I'm not big into watercoloring necessarily, but I've also never really gotten too far into it. So I'm using some of the sky blue, I believe it is, for the body of the butterfly, and then I'm going to color the flowers to match the butterfly. Each butterfly will be getting 3 flowers, so each card will have 3 flowers and 1 butterfly on them. And I was trying to keep the intensity of the flowers the same as the butterflies, but again, as I was going, I realized I didn't like how dark everything was. I wanted them to be very light, very spring colory. But I'm also making these cards, excuse me, one for my mother, one for my mother-in-law, and then one for a friend of mine. I thought it would be fun if she got one in the mail as well, and her birthday happens to be the day after Mother's Day this year, since it was a leap year. Otherwise, her birthday usually falls on Mother's Day. So I'm just coloring these in. And this is just a paintbrush that I picked up at the craft warehouse near me. And as you can see, I kind of changed up how I wanted the colors to look part of the way through. I did want some of the petals dark and then light, and now I'm just using some paper towel to soak up any of the water, which is what I'm doing. I'm lightening it up and leaving some of the white patches that you will see here in to kind of, give it a fun look. Sorry about that, my phone keeps going off. I was also quite out of practice when doing this video, since it had been almost a month and a half from doing a video, so I do apologize that it's all sketchy, and I was getting frustrated because the color wasn't working the way I was wanting it to, and my kids would come in and bug me, so of course I'd have to stop what I was doing, and then I'd forget to turn the camera back on, so I'm kind of all over the place here. So I do apologize for that. I'm hoping that getting back into videos now will make things go a little more smoothly. So after playing around with this flower that I'm working on right now, this is where I had decided that I really like the lighter looks of the watercolors, the really watered down look. So I'm just coloring it in and then softening it up in areas, and I even just add some clean water to it to kind of help move the paint around in order to get a lighter color of it. So I go ahead and I color in one of the flowers with the Wisteria Violet, I believe is what it is. I wish I had my watercolor sitting out here with me. So I'm just going to color those in, and then these ones will get set aside to dry, and I will work on the other flowers and butterflies. And there I kind of make a mistake. Something was on my paper, and so I used my finger to swipe it up off and had to go in and fix where it had smeared. But like I said, it was just, I was having fun, and then the kids, it just all over the place. So this is where I'd gotten one flower done and realized I hadn't turned my camera back on. So I went ahead and did it. I moved my colors off screen so that I could zoom in more. And I also moved them onto the other side to make it easier for myself. This is kind of a, I want to say this was yellow-orange. It comes out quite peachy looking, and I did try to blend it. As you can see here, I add some yellow, but the yellow came out really dark, so I went ahead and added it all, and then I went in with some water to lighten it up. Again, I was trying to get a blended look, but every time I dabbed away the yellow, the orange would go too, and I was really trying to get like a nice fade, and it didn't quite work, although all the cards turned out beautifully, I think, just fantastic in my point of view. So I just keep going back in with water and color, and water and color, and water and color, just trying to get it to kind of blend out a little bit. I had an idea in my head, but unfortunately it wasn't going the way I wanted, so I think I probably should have just played around with the watercolors before actually making a card. Like I said, this was the first time I'd actually watercolored with them. With this flower, I decided to do something different and just go over it with water and then add color, which worked out a little bit better. But I did end up redoing these flowers here a little bit because I didn't like how light they had turned out. And then of course the other ones that I didn't like, so I ended up with some extra flowers that I could go back and forth to decide which ones I wanted to use. So I picked the best out of what I had, but as you can see, this one came out really, really pale. It almost looks like I just completely removed all the color. Although it's very pretty in real life and up against the other two colors of green, it did not quite turn out video-wise the way I wanted. So the other butterflies, one has the yellow and peachy orange look, and the other one is green. So I did go ahead and finish coloring those up, and once everything was dry, I used my die cuts, or excuse me, I used the coordinating die from Lawn Fawn to cut it out, as well as the new banner dies to stamp my sentiments on. This one is, the sentiment is from the Simon Says Stamp Mother's Day set, as well as the inside greeting here. So I stamped this one, and this one will be going to my mother-in-law. And don't worry, folks, I'm not worried about her seeing this too soon. I'm not even sure she knows what my YouTube channel name is, but I'm confident that it'll be okay. And then I just take the butterfly and some mono multi matte and stick everything down inside. As you saw, my flowers were already stuck to the front again. Kind of forgot to turn on my camera. And it is also quite possible that I have these out of order, but I don't think so. So it's just a standard A2 size card base. Actually, it might be a little smaller. These are just some scrap papers that I had that just happened to work out. So I go ahead and I do the same. Each card is a little bit different in the way of how I wanted the flowers to look. They've all got a little something different to it, and I am just using my multimedia mat. And that looks like a lot of glue, and it really was. I ended up with a small plug in my bottle. So once the glue finally came out, it kind of came out all at once. So I need to remember to put the little cap on, which of course I broke off. That's why you don't see the little, that's why you see the little piece there on the table. I broke my cap. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the butterfly to the inside. This one is going to my friend, so I don't have any friend motherly sentiments. So I thought I would just write her a fun little note. And I believe I'll be showing the third card because I did do that one off camera, like I said. I used Memento Green, the Memento Green Ink's Cottage Ink for the stems, I believe is what it was, as well as the flowers, or the leaves, and I just second generation that on the first card. I do apologize, this seems to be all over the place. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video and have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.